Next, we will discuss the suspended load transport, and it refers to the sediment that is supported by the upward component of the turbulent currents and stays in suspension for an appreciable length of the time. In natural rivers, the sediments are mainly transported as suspended load. And if you have to further study the suspended load, you can refer your reference books for this. Okay, next we will discuss the total load transport. So first of all, we will discuss what is total load. So it can be classified based upon two categories. So first is based upon the mode of transportation. In that case, the total load is the sum of the bed load and the suspended load. Second classification is based upon the source of the material being transported, and in that case total load is equal to the bed load material and wash load sum. Bed material is the sediment mixture of which the stream bed is composed of. Bed material load is that part of the total sediment load which is composed of the sediment sizes which are found in the stream bed and in the sand bed rivers. It is equal to the sediment transport capacity of the flow. Wash load consists of the material that are finer than those found on the bed. Its amount mainly depends upon the supply from the watershed and not on the hydraulics of the river. Now it is important to notice that most total load equations are actually total bed material load equations, and in the comparison between the computed and the measured total bed material, wash load should be subtracted from the measurement before comparison in most of the cases. Now these are the equations which can be used to compute the total load transport, and the first one is Enslin and Hansen's approach. They applied the Bagnall stream power concept and similarity principle to obtain a sediment transport function. So this is the equation given by the researchers for Qs, where Qs is the total sediment load in pounds per second per feet. Tau naught is the bed shear stress, that is gamma ds. Gamma and gamma s are the specific weights of the water and sediment, and v is the velocity of the flow. Akers and White's approach. Based upon the Bagnall stream power concept, they applied dimensional analysis and obtained the following relationship. So over here you are having the factor FGR, that is a mobility number for the sediment, and further parameters are used static N, D, where capital D is the water depth, and it will give you this DGR through this relation, where nu is the kinematic viscosity. Now further, if you simplify the factors, a general dimension of sediment transport function can be expressed as this, and these are the limitations for the equations and parameters considering different values of the factors. The values of N, A, M and C were determined by Akers and White based upon the best curves of the laboratory data with the sediment sizes greater than 0.04 mm and trout number less than 0.8. Next method is given by the Young's approach. He used the concept of the unit stream power and obtained the following expression by running the regression analysis for 463 sets of laboratory data. These are the simplification of the basic equation. Next is Shen and Hung's approach. They recommended a regressional equation based upon the 587 sets of laboratory data in the sand size range. Their regression equation is this, and these are the details of all the parameters in the equation. Now we will discuss a numerical problem, and in this you have the following data which is collected from a river: mean particle size day 50, flow velocity, slope, water temperature, average water depth and channel width. The measured total bed material concentration was 1900 parts per million by weight. Assume the bed material is fairly uniform. You have to compute the total bed material concentration by the following method: Yangs, Akers and Whites, England and Hansen, and Shen and Hung. So you will apply the equation for all the methods, and you will find out the total load. So you have find out the value of the total load in terms of the concentration by all the four mentioned formulas, and you can also compute the ratios of the calculated and measured concentration over here. Okay, next we will discuss about the collection and analysis of the field data. First of all, we will discuss that what data you will collect when you are collecting the sediment data. So in that you will note down the data for the bed load, suspended load and total sediment load. Site selection criteria to get the sediment data, which will depend upon these factors. The site should be representative of the sediment transport process in that reach of the stream. Sediment should be uniformly distributed in the cross section. The sediment transport distribution should be stable over the time. The sampling site should be located at or near a stream gauging station in order to relate sediment concentrations to flow. There should be no major inflow from the tributaries between the sediment measuring section and the gauge that could affect the relationship between the sediment concentration and flow. The site chosen should be morphologically stable, and the slope and the width of the stream should be constant both upstream and downstream of the sampling site. The sampling cross-section should not be located on a river bend or in the areas of the active bank erosion. The sampling cross-section should be located away from the confluence of the two streams. Sampling sites are often located at a bridge or cableway to ensure accessibility and to minimize the cost. Now we will see some samplers for the collection of different loads. So for the collection of the bed load, this is the Harris-Smith bed load sampler. So this is the actual sampler, and this is its schematic diagram. So this is a sample bag which is attached over here, where it will be used to collect the bed load which is passing through this nozzle. Then for the collection of the suspended load, we can use this depth integrating suspended sediment wading type sampler, and the model number is also mentioned over here for these different types. For the collection of the total load, or to be particular for the bed material load, you can use this rotary bucket bed material sampler. So this is a figure which shows the configuration of different components at the base. Also for the collection of the bed material load, piston type bed sampler and rotating bucket sampler can also be used. Now the data which is collected can be analyzed, and for the analysis you will find out its sediment size distribution. Means you can find out D50, D90 and other respective diameters. Sediment load versus time curve can be plotted, and also the sediment discharge versus water discharge curve, which is termed as sediment rating curve. So this is a typical sediment rating curve. Along Y you have the suspended sediment load, and along X you have the stream flow.